Good morning on this November 18th, 2020. It's 7:23 a.m. and I'm here with another journal entry for Aisha's journey. This morning's entry is going to be about something that happened yesterday. Yesterday evening, I was on, of course, TikTok, and I was scrolling past one of the posts, and a guy had asked, "How can men cheat on women or sleep with women and not have any feelings?" And it was like it's just an open question for anyone to answer. And the answer that came to me, surprisingly, was about cognitive dissonance. Well, not necessarily cognitive, but just any type of dissonance. And this is when you do something. I should break it down like this. In a book called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, Dr. DeGruy, she talks about how slave masters or people who had slaves or mistreated the black population, the African population during the slave period, how in one instance they can be God-devoted Christians and how they believe that all God's creatures are good, and then the next instance have slaves or beat slaves or sell Africans into slavery, suffer for what is called a cognitive dissonance. This is when internally, there's no way that the spirit being in right formation could actually agree with the mind or the body or the actions of, what the person is doing. There's going to be a space there. It's going to prevent that person in the future from having any real connection either with the victim or even with themselves. It's kind of like if you look at how many white people are in like a seclusion from Black America. They created their own world where we are just not included. And this comes from that same dissonance. This is where you can, hurt somebody to their face or destroy people to their face, but then you don't have the ability to correct that later on. It's going to be it's almost like the spirit and the mind split in two, because there's a space there where the disagreement is so powerful. It doesn't allow any type of agreement or intimacy or whatnot. She said it a lot better than I'm saying it now because I just woke up. But I feel that some of those traits carry over to intimacy between man and women. If a man could sleep with a woman and literally say he can do it without feelings, he is practicing the same dissonance. And later on in life, after, manhood sets in and he grows into not necessarily his likes and dislikes, but what is right and what is true about what he needs and wants from a woman, those same practices are going to create dissonances within later on in life that's going to make him hard to commit to intimacy. And it's not going to happen for him until he goes back into his past and he closes those gaps. Now, me personally, I've also dabbled in the art of one-night stands and debauchery and promiscuity. And intimacy is definitely a issue with me. Not necessarily not wanting to have it, but the ability to peel back that next layer after sex, after you've started a relationship and the feelings have brewed to a sense. And then the aroma sets for the next level. You and your partner have to be able to peel that back to start that next sensual level. That only comes with agreement. Agreement, intimacy, and the ability to be close. This is when the spirit and the mind and the heart can coexist without qualms or without error. And dissonance, this doesn't allow that to happen. It's sad but true. So my general answer to the question, I told the guy in his comment section, I said it's about dissonance. I said he can do it all he wants, but all he's doing is distancing himself from his future self, his self, that adult, more that older manhood that's gonna set in him. It's gonna totally jack up his intimacy. And a lot of that is men who, when they get older, they're just alone and they don't know how to commit, and they don't know how to, you know. I was a player back in my day. See, playing in the field, you got to realize all of that is outside, all that space, and you're just pushing the women into the audience. And then there's going to be just a place where you're just a player on the field practicing alone, and there's nobody to watch you. And there's nobody to be there with you. You really got to be careful. That thing in between your legs can do more harm than good if you're not, truly, truly committed to its well-being in its existence. Everything you practice comes back around 3 or 4 times fold. I know this firsthand. I'm not kidding anybody. Yeah, but it's real. It's a dissonance within. I watch guys now. I see my brother done it. I've done it myself. I have family members, strangers. It's like an absent-minded plunge into unknown waters. And the body isn't made just to have random acts of sex without feelings. You're just you're just distancing yourself from this person, which is okay. I mean, this person you sleep with, you're never going to see again, but you're also creating a distance between you and your ability to have intimacy with a woman. Just because you partaked in the act with that woman, you're just creating little gaps of space in between you and that act. And intimacy has everything to do with why relationships last long and how they grow from, boyfriend and girlfriend to fiance and then to wife. Because after intimacy, once you reach that plateau, this is where soulmates and it's stuff that lasts forever. You're like, oh, thank God, I found this woman. She's my everything. She's my wife. I can't believe this was all I've been looking for. It's like, no, you really struck gold here. For some reason, the dissonance wasn't there. Out of all the men you cheated with, somehow this woman, either she helps him close the gaps, or the dissonance wasn't an issue for her. She came in and she helped him do it. Some men are lucky that way, some aren't. Some men are good men, but they were just crazy growing up. And now their dissonance issues are messing with them so bad, they don't know why they can't get intimate with women. And then they think they might be gay, or they think that something's wrong with women. And then they start, they crack into the other parts of dissonance. Now they, the racist, and now they think it's because black women have attitudes and this, that, and the third. A lot of black women are dealing with the same issue. They're tired of having to close their gaps and then having to help the man they want or need close his gaps too. And it's just, it's just all this internalized pressure, and they're just always on that cracking end. Like they always have to fight for themselves and build something. They're always in warrior mode. And a woman always in warrior mode is just in there for the fight. And then she gets tired. If she doesn't want you, the intimacy is too much for her to bear, and you can lose her. Don't make intimacy the deciding effort in your relationship. Just say, honey, I have dissonance issues from sleeping with women. I slept with them, and to tell you the truth, I got what I wanted and I got out. And now when I try to face it head on, all those empty faces keep passing through with no soul. There's nothing there to touch. I didn't treat them as if they were something to touch, and now I can't touch you the way I want to. And we're going to have to work through that issue. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. I mean, all things are correctable, but anything you partake in, especially in the world we live in the connections we've made, there's always, if you're not doing it genuinely, you're just making gaps. It's going to make it harder for you to reach your goals at the end. Coming up on 10 minutes. Was there anything else that I commented on TikTok? I guess there were 2 of them. There was another one too. I forgot what I said though. I can't. I'm so absent-minded right now. My mind is like in 2 places. Like I can't. remember like I want to. I also commented on a second post. What was that one about? I can't seem to remember. I don't know. Oh, what is wrong with us men? This guy is pretty cute, and he said, "Ladies, it's an open, it's an open post. Say what you want. What do you think is wrong with men?" And I said, "It's not necessarily what's wrong with you." I was like, it's manhood. It's the process of manhood that women are going through with you. And they're going through the process of womanhood at the same time. When man grows from a boy to a man, there's phases. It's just when the dating phase is in, that particular phase in manhood is it can be very volatile for women. Because men are going through that evolutionary phase of growing from his likes and dislikes to what's right and true. And his likes and dislikes can be very masculine. It can be very disturbing. It can be selfish. It can be very egoistic. You can imagine the parts of meanness and evilness men go through before they reach their goodness. They can be complete devils till they're at an age where even the devil gets tired of it. And then they just, I was like, I don't know what I was thinking, but I just couldn't get the need to conquer women out of my mind. The need to conquer and, in the sense when I mean conquer, as many women as possible. I just can't stop touching that place and conquering that place. And I have an issue with, even now I'm in this type of predicament where I'm witnessing a man in that very essence of the need to conquer everything. Like a woman within 5 feet, he's trying to conquer it. And this is just his mentality, his spirituality. I've never seen anything like it in my life. I've heard the stories, but I've never seen anything like it. It triggers me. Like I sometimes I listen, I try to learn, and then other times I get jealous and upset. And I had to take long, deep breaths. I got to, take a step back. I was like, think about what you're witnessing right now. It's like you're witnessing what manhood is, and you need to understand, your place in and who you are as a woman. And then, to keep myself from being upset, I realize how soft I am and how nurturing I am. And then it helps me understand who I am, and that just totally keeps the pain away. And then Bishop Jakes was on TikTok, and he was talking about how many women have been doing, living and existing for themselves for so long that they possess something called masculine energy. And when they go to look for a mate, they tend to look for mates who are feminine in their energy, or mates who end up falling in the woman role. So the female role, so the actual woman ends up taking care of them like a man takes care of a wife. And I've noticed that about myself. Not that, I shouldn't say that. I apologize. I rescind that. I would say that, I do have some masculine energy about me, and I do not mean to. But I've been in some fights in my life that was just so man on man, or man on woman, that I had to fight like a man. And in some instances, when I did win, not all the time. I've had some incredible losses in these fights, but I've had some wins that the actual crown wasn't of womanhood, it was of manhood. Like I was crowned a man, not crowned a woman. And I think that in my spirit can't be defeated. And a lot of it came from just my body size. I mean, men want to size me